Hey guys, Sherm here, and today I'm going to be testing my Bentley Mulliner Bacalar at 4 stars in multiplayer in Asphalt 9. Please consider subscribing if you have not already, and be sure to check out my Furum Clips channel, Furum TV channel, and my Purple Team Discord. Links to all those will be in the description, and I hope you enjoy the video. So, I did not intend originally to get this car at 4 stars. This is the second in a series of videos I will be doing about the cars that I got in the Drive Syndicate 6. I just made a video about the Praga, this was the next one, and then after this will be the 9X8 and the 765LT. So stay tuned for those soon. But yeah, I did not intend originally to 3-star this car. It was the last car that I actually starred up in the event, and the only reason I was able to do this was because I'd actually gotten jackpots for both the Praga and the 9X8, which is what allowed me to star up those cars. And then I calculated I would have just enough Syndicate coins than the rest of the pin missions that I had to do in order to 4-star this car. And I was able to, but just barely. I got to exactly 0 out of all the blueprints I would need for 5 stars. So I did not get one too many, and I had like 5,000 Syndicate coins left at the end. Now I could have potentially bought some more, but there wasn't really any card that I was super close to starring up, and I figured might as well just save my tokens for something later on in the future. So how is the Mulliner Bacalar? Well, this car used to be a Legend Pass car, just like the Gallardo, another higher-end C-Class car. It has come back for free-to-play players. And while it isn't maybe quite as good as the Gallardo, it is still very close. And ironically, I actually got this car at a higher star than the Gallardo, so it maybe feels slightly better, even though it is a little bit further down in C-Class in just the roster when you go and look at it in the garage. But overall, I had a lot of fun driving this car. It's not the most agile car, but it is not the least agile either. It fits pretty well toward the middle, and it's a fairly enjoyable car to drive. Its top speed is around 215 to 220 miles per hour, which is fairly quick for C-Class and could even take on some B-Class cars. The rest of this car's stats are pretty average, I would say. The nitro and acceleration are kind of okay. The drifting is slightly wide, but not too bad, and I just narrowly missed getting knocked down right there. The first race in this video on New York was in the MP2 that I also recorded some races for the Praga video in, but the rest of them from here on out are in regular MP1, in the most recent season where we've had just Shanghai and Osaka, which, as I said before, is kind of unfortunate because it makes it so I don't have quite as much variety when I am testing the cars, which not only, in my opinion, makes for a less interesting recording session, but also just means I can't really test the car in the variety of situations that I would like to. However, I mean, I could potentially wait, you know, for the next season for its rotation of tracks, but I just feel like if I wait too long, the car will kind of not be at the forefront of people's minds anymore, and it would be less useful for me to test. I always like to test cars pretty soon to when I get them as I can, within like a month or so, a reasonable amount of time. In this race, we are facing some B-Class cars. That was an Apollo N that I just somehow knocked down randomly, and we've just got this Huracan ahead of us. Now, because the Huracan is so very popular in multiplayer after it took over the Corvette spot, I kind of take it as my benchmark to test against when testing different cars. By which I mean, in general, am I able to beat more Huracans, or are they able to beat me more often? Now, in the case of the Bentley, the Huracan is going to beat me almost every time because it has better stats than me, but for a car like the Avia, for example, which has a good bit higher top speed than the Huracan, which I should be making a video about soon as I 4-starred it, I'm able to beat them a lot of the time. Now, the Huracan has almost gotten dethroned as the spammed multiplayer car by the Vanda. This is a car that an increasing number of people are able to get or star up, mainly because its blueprints are available for credits in the Legend store, and I've been taking advantage of those deals too. You guys know I've had a 2-star and 3-star Vanda for a long time. I recently started buying blueprints for the car again, and now I'm up to 4 stars in the Vanda. Another car that I'm very interested to test because a lot of cars start getting very good around 4 stars, so I'm interested to see if it's a similar situation with the Vanda. Now, this particular variant of Osaka is one of my least favorite multiplayer tracks of all time, particularly because of that turn right around there, where there is this giant patch of sidewalk that you have to have a shockwave to go over without losing speed, and it happens directly after the ghosting is off. It's around 16 or 17 seconds. And so I got knocked down back there, not much I could do about that. I have had so many bad situations happen at that very particular part of this track. I'm sure some of you can probably relate. So typically when I go through there, I almost always try to have a full bar of shockwave just so I can get through there with the smallest percentage chance of getting knocked out as possible. I still might hit the walls, I still might bump into everything, but at least with a shockwave, hopefully I won't get knocked down. Now, in a miracle of miracles, I'm somehow able to come back past this Acura and Pininfarina and take second place after that knockdown. No idea how. This is one of the most surprising races that I've had in a while, and I was actually able to get into Gold League with it too, so yeah, not gonna complain about that. And of course, after you reach Gold League, you're going to get pretty much all B-Class cars in every race, until you get close to Platinum, and then A-Class cars will infect your races. But in this case, it was just all B-Class cars. We had 2 Corvettes, 2 Huracans, a Debria Superleggera, a Pure Italia, and a Vantage GT12. Now, the good news is my car goes very similar speeds to that of the Corvette and the Vantage, which go, I think, 214 and 217. My car goes like 216. So that definitely is to my advantage. However, the downside is those cars are able to drift and everything better than I can. And given that Osaka is quite a twisty track, I normally would have a bit of a problem here. However, most of them, for some reason, went the long way. I'm wondering if a lot of these cars were in touch drive. That is something that I've noticed. You can almost always tell if someone is in touch drive, not in this particular situation, but there is one place on Shanghai where there is this super easy shortcut you can take if you're in manual. Nobody even really considers it a shortcut, but touch drive doesn't do it. And so whenever I'm on that particular track, I'm able to figure out who's in what just by which way they go, touch drive versus manual. I think it's Pearl of the Orient about halfway through the track. Thankfully in that race, my Bentley was a tank, avoided lots of knockdowns that could very well have screwed up my race entirely. We were able to come in second, and with a very well-timed knockdown at the end, which was not intentional, but it happened literally right before I crossed the finish line to give me second place. Now we're moving on to our final race of the video, where we, again, have a Vantage, and I believe this time we have an F1 LM as well. And again, it's on that horrible section of this variant, but I saved up my shockwave and I was able to get through it without getting knocked down this time, thankfully. Oh, and I didn't win the Ares S1. The event finished earlier today, and I claimed my, I think, 8th place rewards in Tier 1, top 5 got the key, and I did not get anything, even though there were 28 of the packs that had a percentage chance to give me the key. Oh well, that wasn't a card that I was super worried about going for anyway. I managed to 2-star it in the Grand Prix toward the very end though, so that didn't really even help me at all. I was at 1 star throughout most of the event. But in any case, it's time for my general review of the Bentley, a very competitive C-Class car. It's almost as good as the Gallardo, but maybe not quite so much, and if you do have it at higher stars, it's competitive in Silver and perhaps even Gold League. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like the video if you've enjoyed, and consider subscribing for more Asphalt, Forza, Minecraft, and other games content. And I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!